Hi everyone, I'm David Alexander.
And I'm Peter Oler, and we're with Microsoft and the Surface Hub team, and we're here today to talk to you about Microsoft Surface Hub 3.
And of course, the value of running the Microsoft Teams rooms on Windows platform on the new Surface Hub 3. Instead of just having some slides and discussion like you've seen from a lot of the podcasts with folks sitting here, we're of course going to use the interactivity of Surface Hub 3 and the Microsoft Teams rooms experience to actually talk about Surface Hub 3 and the Teams rooms experience.
And we are super excited about that. Surface Hub 3, as you know by now, uses the Microsoft Teams room instead of our Surface Hub 2 TeamOS, and we are super excited to bring MTR to the Surface Hub community. Of course, you can get this in the 85-inch form factor, like the one we're using here, as well as the 50-inch, and of course, now we're introducing rotation, once again, to the 50-inch.
Absolutely. With the hardware innovations we've brought with Surface Hub 3, the new compute cartridge makes it possible to have a 60% performance increase on the CPU and 160% performance from a graphics perspective. And that's super excited to get blazing fast performance on the hardware. And that also unlocks capabilities like, as Peter said, the new Smart Rotation and Smart AV and Portrait, to be able to open up new form factors and new ways to interact with the device that have never really been possible from either Surface Hub or any other device that's out there. But perhaps more importantly, it's not just about the hardware improvements, it's also about what people are trying to do with a device like this.
Indeed. So when we think about collaboration, we don't think just about video teleconference. We think about how people connect, how people tell stories, how people create together. That requires interactivity. That requires David and I to be interacting with one another, and that also requires us to be interacting with hybrid meeting and remote participants. This is no longer a world pre-COVID when all of us got into the same room together to do our work. Now we're spread out all over the place. It is super common for us now to be working remotely and together instead of just all in one room.
Absolutely. Of course, collaboration starts with the way many people think of collaboration. Of course, having things like video conferencing, audio, those are table stakes. And many of the solutions you see here at ISE, of course, offer great video conferencing capabilities. But we believe that the future of what collaboration really can mean and be up-leveled and elevated to be for customers is so much more than just the video collaboration. It's about inclusion. It's about having everyone together in the meeting. It's about keeping track of side conversations, people who are trying to speak or make a point through things like hand raises. But also it's then about interacting together, both those in the room and those who are remote, and having that seamless blended interaction together. And we really believe at Microsoft that collaboration and that interaction really comes through an actual collaboration touch board. Having the ability to touch and use the device and have a natural form factor like a touch board really help elevate that collaborative experience. And so that's when you get the beauty of something like Whiteboard integrated right into the meeting, and not just having the raw whiteboarding capability, but then having AI permeate the whole experience to help the team be all the more collaborative. And so you can see here we have Copilot integrated in. I have the Copilot actually right here in the whiteboard. If I wanted to go ahead and launch Copilot as part of this collaborative session, we could. So all of those elements coming together really help do what we think elevated collaboration can really mean. But we also think that the form factor itself can help do that. So Peter, do you want to talk a little bit more about Portrait?
Completely, thank you, David. The form factor, in particular in the 50-inch, is so incredibly important now that we're able to bring the portrait orientation live with Surface Hub 3. With this orientation, we can now bring one-to-one meeting connection, so two people connected over long distances can connect. Like, it feels like you're in the same room, and it's really quite wonderful. This form factor also allows us to have a very familiar easel-like whiteboard form, and it's very natural and very straightforward to work together in this way. And finally, you'll notice how the 50-inch and the 85-inch feel very much connected. These two devices are designed together to work together. And through the power of Teams, we can join these two devices together in a meeting so that you can be presenting as David and I are here on an 85, while perhaps the 50 is on the side capturing notes or as a parking lot.
Absolutely. Now, what's underlying this whole experience? Obviously, we know that Microsoft Teams Rooms comes in two forms. Microsoft Teams Rooms both on Android as well as Microsoft Teams Rooms on Windows. And of course, that's really important in the marketplace for offering customers choice and flexibility and meeting a whole bunch of different styles of rooms. But when we think about Surface Hub 3, being from Microsoft, of course, maybe it's not surprising that we are running the Windows version of Microsoft Teams Rooms, but it's not just because of company branding. It's also because of the true power of what the Windows platform underlying the Microsoft Teams Rooms experience can really offer. Things like improved usability, but also then that consistent deployment, security, and manageability experience as well. So one great example of the Microsoft Teams Rooms on Windows platform is its scalability to multiple spaces. You can deploy this elevated collaboration experience in whatever type of room environment, or not room environment, but even just collaboration space environment you want, because of the plug-and-play nature of Windows devices and the supportability of the Windows platform for any of the Microsoft Teams Rooms certified peripherals. So the ability to plug in the right microphones or speakers. Of course, we have a built-in microphone array and speaker set and the camera here on the Surface Hub 3 device, but the ability to interoperate with those additional peripherals helps organizations scale Surface Hub into any of these collaboration environments and offer that elevated experience in whatever space needs to be a collaboration space, right, Peter?
Indeed, indeed, and the spaces are really important and I think really interesting. Spaces, we used to think about spaces as conference rooms and conference rooms only. You would have a long rectangular table with 20 people wrapped around that table. That space is becoming much less common. As often as not, we have as many people in the room as we have online. And finding ways to elevate those remote participants to be first-class citizens in the meeting is really crucial and really important. So what you can see is we've been partnering with industry leaders such as Steelcase, and we've been really thinking about how space works and how conferencing in space works for better interactivity and better hybrid meetings. These are just a few of the examples of ways that we can integrate Surface Hub beautifully into small, medium, and large conference rooms as well as huddle spaces. And as David mentioned, we can do that by integrating also third-party peripherals. Yep. Any Microsoft Teams Room certified peripheral works beautifully with us.
And we've been doing a lot of testing ourselves in our own Microsoft digital facilities. We have something called the Hive at Microsoft, which does a lot of experimentation on cutting-edge room deployments and different types of layouts of not only furniture, but interactive components like Surface Hub, all of those peripherals that Peter's talking about, working through layouts like this, non-standard layouts, even, of course, those traditional layouts, but now having the blend of both static experiences as well as interactive experiences. And it's not necessarily just an either-or as well. You can have an interactive Microsoft Teams Rooms experience like Surface Hub, either in the front of room or in the side of room, in coordination with those other more classical Microsoft Teams Rooms layouts with things like the console and projector or screen deployment as well. So there's a lot of flexibility for however customers want to deploy to create the maximum impact from that collaboration space.
Completely. We'd like to meet our customers and our users where they are. We do not demand that you fit our model for interaction. We look to allow our model to blend to what it is that you need.
So that's one of the key elements of the value of Windows underlying this interactive experience on Surface Hub 3 and the Microsoft Teams Rooms platform. But it's not just about the spaces. It's also about IT, thinking about the end-to-end experience of deploying, securing, and managing. So one of the things that we're really excited that the Windows platform offers right now in private preview with the Teams team is Windows Autopilot and Teams Rooms Auto Login. That literally allows you to unbox the device, press the power button connected to network, and it just boots right into the pre-configured state that IT has used familiar cloud management tools to go ahead and trickle down. You can see in this shot here, you can see that predefined deployment profile through Windows Autopilot is streaming right down to the Surface Hub right after it was turned on. This allows customers to just drop ship the devices to wherever they need to go. They don't need to show up in some central location, which might be a little easier when you have laptops, right? But for a large screen device like Surface Hub, is super cumbersome to go to a central location to deploy and then redeploy it to the actual space it's supposed to end up in. So exactly as Peter said, it helps you.
It helps us scale.
Right.
It helps you scale, and that's what we're most excited about. The power of Windows to allow you to scale.
But then once the device is actually where it needs to end up, it's then about managing it. And managing it with common and consistent tools, not only with the other Teams Rooms devices that you have. Of course, Surface Hub 3 running the Teams Rooms platform is now going to show up in the Teams Admin Center and the Pro Management Portal right alongside those other Teams Rooms on Windows devices. But you can also manage it with the consistent tools you use to manage other Windows devices across your organization. So the same familiar PC management tools, things like Microsoft Intune, can help you manage this Windows device in that same consistent pane of glass, which is super important.
What kind of things can you do with that tool, David?
You can check the health, you can check Windows versions, you can deploy policies and packages, you can do all sorts of rich, robust things with all of the cloud management tools that Microsoft offers. Super powerful. I'd be here for probably 3 lengths of this podcast if we were to talk about all the things that cloud management tools can do, but that just speaks to the robustness and the power of managing a Windows-based system like this in that consistent set of tools that IT has. All right. I know we're kind of getting close on time, so I know that at this point you may be wondering, well, this is all great. How do we actually get this experience? Peter, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Certainly. The first thing you can do, of course, is you can purchase new Surface Hub 3s, available in both 50 and 85-inch sizes. That will get you the new experience straight away, the fast hardware that David talked about, and the excellent MTR experience as well.
And that's great for, of course, new collaboration spaces that you might be bringing online for the first time, or new customers to the Surface Hub portfolio that might be considering it for the first time now that we're on the Microsoft Teams Rooms platform. But Peter, what about those customers that have been on the journey with us for a while and that have Surface Hub 2S devices in their organization and collab spaces already? How can they get this experience?
Excellent. Matt's going to hand me a compute cartridge. So with a Hub 3 upgrade pack, we can upgrade a Hub 2S to a Hub 3, and with this you get all of the performance improvements that David talked about, and we unlock rotation of the Hub 3 50-inch. This is compatible with every Hub 2S currently shipped.
Exactly. That actually speaks to the modularity of the design of Surface Hub 2S as well as Surface Hub 3. It's as literally as easy as unscrewing a single screw, pulling out the Surface Hub 2S cartridge, and then inserting the Surface Hub 3 pack and gaining all of those hardware-based benefits of Surface Hub 3 that we were just talking about. So that's a great way for customers in a very, very easy way to just get up and running right away and to do that transition from the 2S hardware as well as the prior operating system that may have been running on that 2S device, the Windows 10 Team Edition, that was our customized operating system that we are now transitioning from to the Teams Rooms on Windows experience.
And with that cartridge, if you remove the Hub 2S cartridge, you can now return that to us and we will safely and properly recycle that.
Right. Sustainability is a huge consideration of commercial customers that we've heard from, so we thought about this recycling program in a way that can help customers meet those needs. And then for those customers that either might want to try out the Microsoft Teams Rooms experience on their Surface Hub 2S first, or who may be waiting for the budget to get new hardware, we also have a software-only approach whereby customers can software migrate their existing Surface Hub 2S devices from the legacy Windows 10 Team operating system to the new Microsoft Teams Rooms on Windows experience and get basically the same exact user experience and software configuration. The only thing that doesn't come with that, of course, are the Surface Hub 3 hardware capabilities that are unique to Hub 3, like rotation, Smart AV, and Portrait, and those performance boosts that we talked about. But otherwise, the software experience is consistent, so organizations can test that out and drive that consistency with those new Surface Hub 3 devices that they get. And then I guess for those customers who are here at ISE, before we close out, we just want to let you know we have the Surface Hub 3 experience running here in the booth. We're using it right now to present to you as we speak. We also have other devices here at the booth and a lot of great folks here at the booth who can help give you another demo, let you play around with it and touch it and experience it and start to understand how you can elevate collaboration in your organization.
And I think that is most important. This is about elevating collaboration. It's about changing the way we work together so we can work together better. You're noticing that this entire discussion has been run off whiteboard. We're not doing this off a canned deck. This is interaction and live. This is an opportunity for us to connect together and hopefully connect with you as well.
Absolutely. So this has just been a small peek at all of the power of Surface Hub 3 and the Microsoft Teams Rooms on Windows platform running on an interactive canvas like Surface Hub 3. There's so much more information out there. We hope you take a look. We can't wait for you to try Surface Hub 3.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.